Oki, Nistoni Daniko Tsabinaki. My name is Dr. Gabrielle Weasel. I'm an assistant professor in Indigenous Studies here at Mount Royal University. My teaching tip is to live what we teach. Create meaningful relationships with students. But I think in order to do that, we need to have a really good relationship with self, with our own knowledge, understanding where our knowledge comes from. Why is that important? Because everything is framed through a cultural reference. And if we're oblivious to that, then we may be perpetuating harm that we don't intend to by projecting our own cultural realities onto others. And so one of the things that I do with my students in the classroom is we go through a process of exploring personal knowledge, self-knowledge. Where does that come from? What is our relationship to knowledge? What is our relationship to power? Especially in the classroom. There are power dynamics that happen in the classroom between student and teacher, and understanding how that impacts safe learning spaces, I think is really critical to envisioning a transformative experience in learning where it's not just that class. This transformation is going to sustain students in other classes as well. And for the instructor, it's going to be a continuous source of growth and also transformation. So knowing self, knowing our relationship to power, I think that's huge. And that's what I try to embody in my classes every day with students. An example that I'd like to offer is the generation of relational learning agreements that are co-created with students. And students hold themselves accountable to these learning agreements. And this has been inspired through Cree scholar Willie Ermine's ethical space of engagement. So how do I create an ethical space of engagement with my students? Well, we co-create these learning agreements or rules of engagement, and we hold ourselves accountable to that. And that sets the stage for really respectful learning. And so that's one example that I have for setting up the classroom in ways where it's not so driven by the instructor, but students also have a investment in their own learning. So they're responsible to their knowledge and responsible to each other. Learn about who you are. Learn about where you come from, and learn about your own knowledge. Where does it come from? What are areas for growth? Because in the institution as instructors, we're often looked on as experts. From an Indigenous point of view, we're always only ever learners. And so that really flips it, and that creates possibilities.